you know America has control of a jet that cost them $1 billion? It's an addition to their arsenal, and every single penny that was invested in it was worth it. It's an X-47B. If you're new here, then don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so you won't miss any future updates. With that note, let's get started. The Northrop Grumman X-47B is a demonstration unmanned combat aerial vehicle intended for operations from aircraft carriers. The X-47 project began as part of DARPA's J-UCAS program and later became part of the U.S. Navy's Unmanned Combat Air System Demonstration Program. This project was developed by the American defense technology company Northrop Grumman. The X-47B is a jet-powered, tailless, blended-wing aircraft capable of semi-autonomous flight and aerial refueling. The X-47B made its maiden flight in 2011, and as of 2015, its two active demonstrators have successfully completed a series of land and carrier-based demonstrations and extensive flight and operational integration testing. The United States Navy announced in August 2014 that the X-47B had been integrated into carrier operations alongside manned aircraft, and in May 2015, the primary test program was deemed complete. The X-47B demonstrators were supposed to become museum exhibits following flight testing, but the Navy ultimately decided to keep them in flying condition pending further development. The United States Navy did not commit to practical UCAS efforts until 2000 when it awarded Boeing and Northrop Grumman contracts worth $2 million each for a 15-month exploration program. Dealing with a corrosive saltwater environment, tech handling for launch and recovery, command and control system integration, and operation in the high electromagnetic interference environment of an aircraft carrier were all design considerations for a naval UCAV. The Navy desired to use UCAVs for reconnaissance, to penetrate protected airspace, and to identify targets for subsequent attacks. 2003 marked the maiden flight of Northrop Grumman's proof-of-concept X-47A Pegasus, which served as the basis for the X-47B. Following the quadrennial defense review, the J-UCAS program was terminated in February 2006. The United States Air Force and Navy developed their own UAV programs. The Navy chose Northrop Grumman's X-47B as the demonstrator for its unmanned combat air system. To provide realistic testing, the demonstrator was constructed to be the same size and weight as the planned operational craft, and its weapons bay was designed to accommodate existing missiles. On December 16, 2008, the X-47B prototype rolled out of Air Force Plant 42 in Palmdale, California. It was expected to make its maiden voyage in November 2009, but the project fell behind schedule. Northrop Grumman oversaw towed taxi tests of the aircraft at its Palmdale facility on December 29, 2009, with the aircraft taxiing independently for the first time in January 2010. The first flight of the X-47B demonstrator, designated Air Vehicle 1, occurred on February 4, 2011 at Edwards Air Force Base in California. On September 30, 2011, it first flew in cruise configuration with its landing gear retracted. On November 22, 2011, the second X-47B demonstrator, designated AV-2, made its maiden flight at Edwards Air Force Base. Initial plans called for the two X-47Bs to undergo a 3-year 50-test program at Edwards AFB and NAS Patuxent River, Maryland, concluding with sea trials in 2013. However, their performance was so consistent that preliminary tests were terminated after 16 flights. The Navy decided to have them demonstrate carrier launches and recoveries in addition to autonomous in-flight refueling using a probe and drogue. In May of 2012, AV-1 began high-intensity electromagnetic interference testing at Patuxent River in order to determine compatibility with planned electronic warfare systems. The AV-2 arrived at Patuxent River in June 2012 to begin a series of tests, including arrested landings and catapult launches, to validate its ability to conduct precision approaches to an aircraft carrier. On November 29, 2012, its first land-based catapult launch was conducted successfully. The X-47B began its carrier-based evaluation on November 26, 2012 aboard the USS Harry S. Truman at Naval Station Norfolk, Virginia. On 18th of December 2012, the X-47B completed its first phase of at-sea testing and was deemed to have performed outstandingly, proving compatibility with an aircraft carrier's flight deck, hangar bays, and communication systems. After completing deck testing, the X-47B returned to NAS Patuxent River for additional testing. It performed a successful arrested landing on a simulated carrier deck at Patuxent River on the 4th of May 2013. On May 14, 2013, at the Atlantic Ocean, the X-47B was launched from the USS George H.W. Bush, marking the first time a UAV was launched from an aircraft carrier. On the 17th of May 2013, it accomplished another first by performing touch-and-go landings and takeoffs from George H.W. Bush while in flight. On the 10th of July 2013, the X-47B took off from Patuxent River and landed on the deck of the George H.W. Bush, performing the first ever arrested landing of an unmanned aerial vehicle on a carrier at sea. A third attempt was diverted to the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia because of a technical issue. One of the 3 navigational subsystems of the UAV failed, which was identified by the remaining 2 subsystems and communicated to the operator, who then aborted the landing. The Navy stated that the detection of the problem demonstrated the X-47B's dependability and autonomy. Due to technical issues, the second X-47B, designated 501, was forced to abort a planned landing on George H.W. Bush on the 15th of July 2013. Officials stated that the program only required a single successful at-sea landing, despite the fact that testers aimed for 3 and achieved 2 out of 4. After receiving criticism for prematurely retiring the 2 X-47Bs, the Navy flew them until 2014. The Navy subsequently deployed the X-47Bs to carriers for 3 additional test phases between 2013 and 2015 in an effort to demonstrate that UAVs could work seamlessly with a 70-aircraft carrier air wing. On September 18, 2013, the X-47B completed its 100th flight for the UCAS-D program. On July, 16 precision approaches to the carrier flight deck were completed, including 5 tests of wave-off functions, 9 touch-and-go landings, 2 arrested landings, and 3 catapult launches. On November 10, 2013, testing aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt continued. During this phase, the X-47B's digital carrier-controlled environment was evaluated, such as during launch, recovery, and flight operations between the UAV and carrier personnel. The purpose of the 2014 trials on Theodore Roosevelt was to test the UAV's ability to take off, land, and hold a pattern among manned aircraft without interfering with the carrier operations. It also utilized a jet blast deflector for the first time, allowing the aircraft to take off without affecting operations behind it. The X-47B performed its first night flight on the 10th of April 2014. On August 17, 2014, it launched and landed on Theodore Roosevelt alongside an FA-18 Hornet, marking the first time a UAV operated alongside manned aircraft and an aircraft carrier. Following the Hornet's launch from the carrier was the X-47B. After a brief flight, the X-47B landed and took off again immediately to verify system behavior. After 24 minutes, the X-47B landed on the flight deck and departed to make room for the Hornet's landing. It was the 5th test period at sea for the X-47B, which had previously completed 8 catapult launches from a carrier, 30 touch-and-goes, and 7 arrested landings aboard the George H.W. Bush and the Theodore Roosevelt. The X-47B successfully completed 5 catapult launches, 4 arrestments, and 9 touch-and-go landings on August 24, 2014.